Hi, unicorns. I'm a couple minutes behind the curve. Today, we're going to do the joined version of our weekly tarot plus our full moon ritual since we missed yesterday. I had a live ritual here in Brooklyn that I was hosting and facilitating. So I'm going to reach across and try to get Instagram in the mix here too as we get started. So as you join the room, say hi, leave a little comment. It's going to be a long one today. Okay. So we're going to talk through our full moon ritual pieces. We are going to do our weekly tarot. Hi. And then we're going to get to possibly maybe some live single card pulls today. I know we always do them. They've been a little chaotic lately. That's okay. That's not the reason. I've got an hour and a half today, and we have so much full moon information to go over that I want to make sure that is given dedicated time plus the weekly tarot reading. And let me hop on Instagram and reach across. So hang in there. Hang in there, Joan. Hi, Carla. Thank you. It's full moon, right? And on Instagram, I always kind of post how I often feel very moon drunk at full moons. Sometimes new moons, depending on how they hit. This one, I feel a little spaced out, a little extra, and we're going to talk about why that could be the case for a lot of us. There's a lot of anger in the air. There's a lot of depressive, oh my God, I just stuck my thumb in the middle of y'all, energies. And so there's a lot going on. So hang on. Let me get Instagram started. So I'm sharing on Instagram and on YouTube today. Hi, Paula. And I'm a little moon drunk. Let's just put it that way. Focusing. Sag has trouble focusing. I definitely have some trouble focusing today. Not going to lie. Okay. Instagrammy. Here we go. Right? If there is time towards the end, so we're going to have probably an hour and a half together today in the reality and the honesty of getting through Unicorn Bingo, talking about this full moon basics, and doing the weekly tarot reading. So we've got YouTube going and Instagram. From here on out, I'm going to try to double up on both platforms for all of our lives for lots of different reasons. The summer schedule gets a little tricky, again, for all the reasons, and we just roll with it. So I want to be as available as possible. YouTube, we've had some stuff lately that, it's just part and parcel of social media and certain platforms, and being a one-armed paper hanger running the whole thing, and it's fine. So we're going to have Instagram and YouTube today. We're going to be an hour and a half. Instagram will cut off at about an hour mark. I'm just going to turn around and turn it right back on. So if we get to the single card tarot pulls today, it will be at the end of the hour and a half if we feel like we've covered all of the full moon goodies and your weekly tarot reading. So this is kind of like if we get there, then we do. And if we don't, we don't. I've had beautiful feedback from my unicorns. I love you so much, about the lives and the tarot readings. You guys really are here for the conversation and the tangents and the goods, which is why we started doing these, right? The reason I wanted to have our lives is that we have as much of a live space that we can gather together as a community as possible in this period of time, right? Hi, you guys. Hi, Erica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sue. Oh, good, you guys. Okay, so again, Sag moon, a little trouble focusing. We're going to hone in on it. So today is going to be an hour and a half. That's where it's going to be at. Hopefully we'll cover all of the information in that period of time. If we have time at the end of the hour and a half, I will do some single card tarot pulls for you all, of course. But again, the feedback that I've been getting from you all, from the Unicorn Wellness community, I love you guys so much. I can't. You're the best. that we're really here for the conversation and for the goods of the astrology, how we're feeling, to give us permission, to give us support, to give us insight and how to move forward and how to heal, how to feel protected, how to feel safe, how to feel better. And this goes, body, mind, and spirit. This is about the movement and the food, the physical aspects. This is about meditation and about the tarot. So when we join together as a live community, it is about the Unicorn Wellness community, or those who are really interested in the community and the education in total. Okay. So you can always book single card readings with me at tandygutierrez.com. I try to keep them at a minimal rate in regards to messaging, channeling, and my schedule. So the addition of them here, it was just like an extra goodie that I like to offer when there's additional time for it. I don't want that to usurp the conversations and the education that we facilitate at Unicorn Wellness, right? Hi. You guys are awesome too, because you're all helping moderate in the comment section. That's the thing that I really can't do, because then my brain goes as I'm trying to guide and educate and bring information forward and answer questions and facilitate as we go. So today really marks the beginning of summer for Unicorn Wellness. We're going to have adjustments to the schedule. I won't see you every Monday. I won't see you every Tuesday. I'll put it below in the description section, but basically click the bell when it's live. It'll be on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I'll get to see you then. Instagram too, it'll be live for 24 hours, and you can always check my Instagram stories for, hey, are we live today or not? I always just go put it up. So my schedule is pretty packed, and I'd always get to a point of like, do I really need to be doing all of this? I'm here to facilitate for you all, but I don't want it to be chaotic, and I don't want it to be confused. And then I have my own personal self-care, energy levels, family to tend to as well. So it won't be every Monday and Tuesday from here through August. It'll be one or the other. And on the other, we'll double up when we need to, so that you're still getting the content and we're still getting the connection in a live scenario. Okay. Okay. And then I'll check in with the comments and make sure we're, hi, Shauna. Yay, Cynthia, everybody here. Yeah, and sometimes I feel like maybe just the long game on one day is just better for everybody else instead of drawing it out 2 days in a row. For those who are members at UnicornWellness.Studio, like, we say, like, you all see me every day for your movement patterns, for your workouts. I'm in the private Facebook group every day, and I'm in and around Instagram every day. So these opportunities to meet live are really mini workshops, right? And to fill in the gaps to help keep you all supported and to help keep you moving towards your own personal wellness, body, mind, and spirit, in relationship, in understanding of the current astrology and through the tarot, since that is one of my gifts of divination and one of my tool sets for you, right? So it's a full bag here, and especially today. Hi, Jill. It's like, Lita's here. Mama. Yeah, so many friends today. Okay, yay. So we really focus on Unicorn Wellness tactics and habits, and we're filling in the pieces here. I do hope that we find new friends and new unicorns who are wandering by and are interested in the information. They go, hey, this is totally a fit for me, and I need this, and I've been looking for this, and this supports me and moves me forward for my highest and greatest good, and becomes a member because we're live and because it's in a public forum, right? But it's not everybody's cup of tea. And I don't want to get into a situation where it's being capsized by those who just want the free single card tarot readings and who don't understand the baseline of the philosophy of what we teach and what we do. One of my, Taurus nature, stubborn to a fault, is that, like, here's what we offer, here's what we do, and it's not really getting adjusted, right? Or capsized or interrupted. This is a safe space for you all to ask questions. And again, I do the complimentary readings because I want everybody to have access to it at a certain point, right? So we have the weeklies that are open to the public. We have these, single tarot card pulls, but the tarot card pulls support the process, the habits, and the tactics of UnicornWellness.Studio. Can they stand alone? Yes, but I find them kind of pointless if they stand alone, honestly. We need to know how to lead integrated lives and how to support our wellness and continual healing. And one-off questions is not what I do. And I've said this a million times. I'm going to say it one more time. I promise I won't do this again. That there are other readers who are highly gifted and talented, and they specialize in certain things like love, like relationships. It's not my bag. That's not what I do. What I do is really about the evolvement and the highest evolution of your soul in this lifetime, the highest expression of it. So the questions that we ask of the tarot as a collective, and in these lives, really need to be geared towards what are my next best steps? How can I adjust? How can I integrate? How can I grow? How can I love more, right? When we focus on the outside, we're still pointing fingers at other people. And then, finger pointing, there's 4 of them pointing back at you. We're all human. So I feel that the best, most useful, in my mind, in my platform, as me as a reader, is to question the self. That only. So that's the work that we do at Unicorn Wellness. It's not focused on the external and the outside. And I do not want to transition into that, because that's not of integrity. That's not where my soul is. Let it be somebody else's, right? Okay. So big breath. Here we go. Today is a big old day. Yeah, Sarah, right? So, and again, I do want to facilitate. I'm also open to hey, is Unicorn Wellness adjusting? Does the community need to push past these little bits? I always know if I don't feel comfortable, I'm not comfortable. It's my party and my time, honestly, and it is a give, and I love to do it because I want to be of service, but I also don't want to be taken advantage of or be doing things that's not my area of expertise. Those aren't my rails. I'm not going to run in them. Okay. What we do at Unicorn Wellness has a basis in healing the physical body, knowing that we're much more than a body. We're a spirit and a soul. Those are the one and the same thing. And we're an emotional human being. So when I added the tarot to the site and the meditation, it's not that we're solely focused on the 3D body, but they go together. And I get it. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is combining the wellness component of a physical body with the tarot. Meditation seems to kind of go with both of them, but this is its own thing. So we also have to explain as new people come in and go, this is what we do here. Yes, we are on a seeking path of the soul. We are here for healing. We are here for soul expansion and for lesson learning and for burning karma. But we're also here to implement in the physical day-to-day lives. How can I really affect change today? Okay, so this goes along with this moon. So I think the best place to start today, and I know because it's going to be a long day, you all will hop in and out. I think the best place to start today is in the moon, and then go from the basics of the full moon into this particular moon, okay, into Unicorn Bingo, then into the weekly tarot. So I'm just letting you guys know that up front, since we've never done a combined one before. I was like, what makes the most sense as to the lead-in? Big shout out, just tiniest bit of housekeeping, but it's just fun. We had the full moon ritual in Brooklyn here in Carroll Gardens yesterday. It was one of those rituals I was like, is anybody going to show up? It's on a Monday at noon. I must have lost my mind. But I took whatever studio time there was closest to the actual lunation. And so that was the time. We had a room of 6, and it was such a beautiful full moon ritual. So those who showed up yesterday, thank you. Becky, I don't know if you're in the room today, but she did. She traveled, she made a whole trip into New York to the rituals. She's been a member for 6 years, and we've had private sessions online, and we've communicated a ton in email and in the private group. First time I've met her in person in 6 years. And it always is the same experience. That it doesn't feel weird, because we all genuinely really know each other as a community. And it was just really exciting to have that experience and to have the group and the community together. Yeah, I mean, Erica, it's really, for those who have attended any of the events that I've hosted and taught in the last, 6 years, I don't think we started them year 1. I think it was year 2, but any of the events that we've hosted are really a magical thing. Yeah. And so Liz was there, and Liz isn't in the Facebook group. She's not on Facebook, but y'all need to get to know her. She's Street Noise Books on Instagram. She's fierce unicorn in the world, one of my favorite people of all time. She brought her daughter. And then we had a brand new person who had seen the sign last month and thought, hey, I'll give this a shot. And it was so cute because Becky was like, she's totally a unicorn. I was like, yes. And so it becomes this thing that we start to recognize, right? Unicorns in the world. And we go, oh, they carry a very special vibration and a very special energy and a beautiful openness and earnestness. So yesterday's full moon ritual, I got to say, I was having a little personal stuff leading up to it about it not being full and about people not showing up and me and my own sad humanness feeling like doing so many things, whatever, right? It was so gorgeous yesterday. I'm so proud of it. If you can plan to be there, like, come on, please do it. Those of you, especially in the, YouTube group chat that are talking about it right now, if you want me to come to your community, I will. I have done it before. I used to do like 7 events a month, and I am delighted to do these things. It doesn't need to make money. It needs to cover the trip. That's all, because I want to see you and I want to teach. If you all want to bring me to a space that you're at, you'll need to help engage and make that happen. I am still only one person. There's 3 of us. But again, there's only so many things I can do. But what I can do is I can show up and throw an event and a party like nobody's business, as long as we have people to help find spaces to host in and have assist helping people show up to them. So like, I will go where I am wanted. That is not a hard thing to convince me to do in the least bit. But for right now, we've got the full moon events in Brooklyn. So if you can, or capable of traveling, like, please do it. Yesterday was so beautiful in all the ways. And it's always a pleasure to get to meet my members in person or see you all that I haven't seen in years. We really generate quite a bit of magic online, you all. We are a boutique community, not giant. It's not viral. Not everybody knows what we do, and it's not giant, okay? But it's really, really special, and it's real. And if there was anything that was kind of driven home, that the universe was like, okay, we see you in your pity pot and your humanness, we're going to show you magic and make you, more aware of and remind you of what this all is in the last 6 years. So it's beautiful. That's all I can really say. And I'm so grateful for those who showed up yesterday, because it was not an easy time to show up for. July is our next full moon ritual on the 16th. I think it's a Tuesday. It's another odd time in Brooklyn. And I'm not sure that's going to be an easy time for people to show up for either. It'll be from 1:30 to 3:30. But if you can adjust to be there, these rituals are just getting richer and more beautiful and more magical. And July will be the last one here until the fall, until September, because we're taking August off and just need a little time to breathe and to reevaluate all the things and to restore. So there you go. Hopping in on the comments. Yeah, Pacific Northwest too. We've also done, like, in the beginning, we had more events there, I think, than any place else. We've got a little base of members there. We could totally swing that. Yeah. And, maybe the traveling ones are for the new moon. And then we keep the full moon here in Brooklyn. Yeah, Erica. Oh, Erica, you would be the most amazing ambassador. Yeah, if you really want to do this, it really is simple in its process and in its theory. The actualization of it can be challenging sometimes, but also can just be like pure magic. So if you're really serious about bringing me somewhere, then let's do it. Okay, let's just do it. This is how manifestation works. Like, we think about it, we want it, like, let's just do it. It's not that big of a deal. I don't like to fly, but I will. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's brew some magic here on that. All right. On that note, let's start with the basics of any full moon, in case we just like the reminders. I always like the reminders. Full moons get boiled down to releasing. Release what no longer serves your highest and greatest good. And when you're beginning to live by the moons and to really tune into the moon cycles and to really ritualize the moon cycles and integrate that back into your daily lives, that is a nice and simple and the first step in, right? Like make it easy, attach, let's get into, lunar cycles. When you start to go deeper, especially as a unicorn, and here we are deep in the unicorns today, full moons are so much more than that. Okay. And again, we're here for healing and expansion and for realness and getting deep and being honest about it. So just like in your wellness in a physical body, it's like, oh, I can remove this food because I think it bothers me. Removing a certain particular food does not heal the issue at hand. There's gut damage, there's, microbes, there's the bacteria in your gut. Like taking and removing one thing doesn't fix it. It's a very good step in the right direction, but it's not the whole story. You want full healing so you don't have issues and problems later on. You got to go to the root of it. Shout out to the reset because I got angry and sassy about it. Y'all hopped on that reset wagon and people are really doing it. And I will be more diligent about educating on it. But when you do the reset, this is the real healing work, right? Not only do you remove the foods that harm you or you think are a culprit in your wellness and in your health, but then you get to the actual gut healing component of it. So then you can layer foods back in, and maybe even the food that was a problem before can be reintroduced because the gut has actually healed. This is what healing means. This is what wellness truly looks like. Our marketing, wellness, lifestyle, just buying shit and adding supplements or taking things out, that is not healing. Okay. So full moons. They are the time when the moon and the sun are in direct opposition of each other. This is my favorite, like Sesame Street thing. Okay. And so the moon is reflecting the full force power of the solar energy. So not only do you have complete total balance, you also have conflict and opposition of feminine, lunar, masculine, because these are the words that we use, solar energies. So at the time of the full moon, okay, our lunation was yesterday at 4:35 a.m., but we sit strongly in it 3 days prior and 3 day post. So we're still sitting in it today, okay? So this direct opposition, right, either gives us the most amount of energy in the month. I mean, it does give us the most amount of energy in the cosmos each month. So we can feel very energized, like I can't sleep and I could do anything. What more project can I finish up? What am I going to clean? What am I going to organize? That's beautiful. And we hope that that's how you feel each full moon. And that is its best expression and its intended expression. Okay. So on UnicornWellness.Studio, this week are the workouts that require the most amount of effort from you in our 4-week cycle because it's in attunement to the moon. If your body, if yourself is a little overwhelmed in its own personal astrological chart, if you're highly sensitive to where the particular full moon sits, all of that energy can also be very depleting and draining, and you can get exhausted. So being that there's no should to feel about it, but there is a noticing like how it affects you. This is the whole point of lunar cycling, and to connect with the cycles of the moon and go, oh, we're having a full moon right now. Okay. You can also, sometimes I do this, swing between those two things in these days of like, yeah, energy. Oh God, that was tiring. Oh, neat. So the full moon offers us energy. And how we process or how we are processing that is unique and individual to ourselves. So we want to always listen to what's going on to ourselves without shame, without guilt, without deprivation, just in noticing, and then go, how do I take care of myself and my energies at this time? It's always about balance, right? So the full moon, yes, is a time of releasing what no longer serves us. But before you can decide, or before you can recognize, and before you can release, you need to go back a few steps. The full moon is this like big old spotlight being thrown somewhere in your life. And you need to look at where the energy is going. Where is energy showing up in your life? Okay, positive or negative? Where is it at? And so you want to see like, what have you brought to fruition? What has come to completion? What is finishing up? Like what have you made or assisted into coming into being at the full moon? Okay. If you have brought something to manifestation and completion in the full moon, then you go, what no longer serves my highest and greatest good from this moment forward? It can also be what assisted me to get to this completion, but isn't going to serve me in the next project in the next step. Okay. So these are ways to evaluate what needs to be released, but you need to look at where the energy is first. Part of this is a bit of a gratitude practice, right? I did that. Let's be really excited and grateful for that. I had that moment yesterday at the full moon, right? Of like, I brought these people together. This is kind of a neat thing in the middle of the day. Like, who's got time for that? They made time. Really magical. If you have not brought anything to completion or fruition, or nothing's kind of culminating or manifesting right now, this is kind of the real constructive place to dig in and go, what is preventing me from bringing something to manifestation? So if you're not bringing anything into being right now, then are you procrastinating? That needs to go. Have you not picked a focus? I don't know what I'm building, creating, helping in the world or expressing. Okay, well, then, release not knowing, right? Then sit down, do some journaling, make a focus, a little daydreaming, vision boarding, whatever gets your juices flowing as to what you want to bring into creation. Have a good conversation with somebody. So the full moon is not just about release. It is about what have you created? What have you brought to manifestation? What is now tangible in the world that wasn't before, Then maybe what isn't? I'm sitting around not producing, nothing's happening, and then go, well, why not? What do I really want to bring into manifestation? So yes, release, but first notice where the energy sits, okay? Any questions or comments about the basics of a full moon and really how we look at it in depth for UnicornWellness.Studio, because you can come in and just think about releasing, because releasing, you have to release in order to receive, manifestation 101. But the bigger thing is to really look at what's being highlighted. So the other aspect of that is there like a big old light on some chaos and some mess? You're like, I'm not creating anything but a big old mess. Okay, well, why and what needs to go to quiet and calm and clean up the messes, right? I'm poking in on the comments. Okay. Nice. Okay. So there's all kinds of things to look at in order to get to what do I need to release, because we always need to be cleaning house, literally or figuratively, so that we don't get a backlog of things, so we don't have stuck energies, and so things don't pile up. Hi, Katie. I saw you yesterday. It's okay not to say hello. Yes. Okay, so let's move on, because that was a really good transition, Valerie. She said, this moon seems to be big manifestations that are setting up, moving further down the road. It feels like my release actually needs to be clearing the path to keep on the path. Huge and gorgeous realization. That's real, and really on target, okay? I did a very Sagittarius thing yesterday. I threw away my notes on this moon from yesterday's ritual. So I'm going to do my best to stay really on track with it. So those are the basics of a full moon, okay? As always. Then the next piece is this full moon, okay? No lunation sits by its own. It's not one flavor of an ice cream ever. All right, this one is like super not only one flavor. So we are going to cover this one moon and then get deeper, because it's quite deep with this one, okay? This full moon sits in Sagittarius, all right? Sagittarius is the wanderer, the traveler, the explorer, and the philosopher. Sag is all the things. It's fiery energy. It is enthusiastic. It is fun. Like Sag, the life of the party. Fun. They are constantly exploring. Okay. And this is what's beautiful about Sag, is that they're totally open. They're non-judgmental. Like it's an exploration. These are really the philosophers and the anthropologists in certain ways, because they look at things from the wider scale up top, really big picture of how it affects a culture, how it affects people, how things transmute. And there's no judgment in it. It's really smart. Sag is really smart. Okay. Because they're capable of looking at the expansive way and go, actually, there's a lot of ways to do things, right? There's a lot of ways to move a body. There's a lot of ways to learn a language. There's a lot of ways to network and connect with people. There are a lot of ways to do things. Sag thinks there's no one specific right answer, because it knows different cultures do things different ways and different peoples do things different ways, and they still succeed. So that's the benefit of Sag. It's beautiful. It's a starter because it's fiery energy. It engages and ignites and begins things. Where Sag gets a little bit of a fall off, and the imbalance of Sagittarius, is because they have so many ideas, because it's so enthusiastic and so fiery. It's very hard to get focused, like really hard to get focused. Can be really challenging to bring things into manifestation with Sagittarian energy, because they're all over the place. Oh yeah, I totally decided this yesterday, but hey, what about this one? It's like picking colors, right? For a room. And you go, oh, I totally picked out the bedding, and this pink is gorgeous. And then that shade of this wall goes totally with this, and I bought these flowers. And the next day you go, but this color is really beautiful too. And I saw these other sheets, and I saw this other bit of paint, and this one's on sale. Then nothing gets done. No paint gets applied to the wall. Those sheets don't even get bought. Like, it ain't happening. So Sag is beautiful and exploratory and open and fierce, but can have a really hard time getting focused and getting anything to come into fruition, because it's so all over the place. Okay. I say this with love. One, we all have Sagittarian energy in our chart somewhere, which we'll get to when we play Unicorn Bingo. Two, I am married to a Sag sun, and my youngest is Sag rising. I know this energy so well. It's gorgeous, can be exhausting to the person who is Sagittarius, either, sun, moon, or rising. And they need boundaries and rails, and they need structure in order to bring things into fruition. So this idea of really getting honest about what needs to move out of the way, this goes into our Gemini energy of taking the blinders off of like not knowing what to do, because Sag is very similar to Gemini. They keep pulling information, but getting it to turn into actuality or wisdom is very challenging. Okay. Cool thing about Sagittarius. So this moon sits at 25 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, here's the extra bits, right? Sagittarius is the centaur, half horse, half human, and the archer, bow and arrow. Okay. They have this workhorse mentality. They have stamina. Maybe not workhorse mentality. They have stamina for like, they can just keep going. It's gorgeous and beautiful. For someone who doesn't have that kind of stamina, that's something I wish I had. So there's the intellect of the human, right? Of the cognitive mind, the stamina of a workhorse, keep going, strong and able, keep going. And when Sagittarius gets totally focused, because they are the archer, they always hit the bullseye. So there's this bit of taking the blinders off when it comes to false pretenses, because Sag can get a little like, anything's possible, and then doesn't check the bank account. That's not possible, because you don't have money in the bank to do that. Meaning that all ideas are possible with Sagittarius, but they have a hard time getting grounded and getting real, right? And so for Sag, putting blinders on is actually really helpful to get focused. Okay. So there is this like, anything's possible in the universe right now, as it always is. Magic is possible. We are co-creators of our own lives. We are capable. But the energy at play of Gemini and the Sag full moon, at its really simplistic, says you have all the information you need. You have all the tools you need. Now you need to get focused, and you need to bring something into being. Okay. So like Valerie, I think you're the Falcon channel on here. Like she said, she feels like she's clearing things away to keep going on the path for things to be manifested. So this full moon is the last full moon before eclipse season. So here's where it gets a little nerdier, a little geekier, and we won't go like, oh God, all the way in depth. But we are going to just touch on this is the last full moon before eclipse season. Okay, meaning we're being offered a period of time to really release the shit that doesn't allow us to manifest: procrastination, not being focused, wandering off the path, starting too many projects, and really focusing on simple, direct things so that you can keep in conjunction with them. Because when eclipse season rolls around each year, about twice a year, these are the times that manifestation and miracles have a higher frequency or potential of happening if things are on track and if it is divine timing in your own personal chart and your own personal path, right? So this is absolutely a time of like, oh my goodness, I got to pick a focus. I got to get rid of the bullshit. I got to take the blinders off, and then I got to get the right pair of blinders to keep me focused. Okay, so there is this anticipation and buildup with this moon of the next 6 months. It is preparation. So remember, our astrology in the last 2 years and in the next year are extreme. We're sitting in configurations that we have never as humans experienced before. And so if you've gotten involved in astrology and you're like, I've never cared before, it's because we're all being pushed to pay attention because this is different. This is more magical. This is bigger. It's a little more epic. Okay. That this is one of those moments. What have you been pushing at? What do you really want? What have you been working towards, but maybe not been focused, maybe been distracted, maybe been procrastinating? This is a moment of recognition and potential to move forward in much bigger ways. Okay. So then, because we're approaching eclipse season, this full moon also asks us to go, what has the last 6 months been? So that would be January. That's the Gregorian New Year, right? What have you put into play? What have you brought into fruition? What have you manifested? What have you adjusted? What have you shifted? What have you released that was dragging you down in these last 6 months? This particular full moon is really important to understanding what have you been doing to help move us forward into what do we want to be doing, okay? So there is this 6 experience here too that's bigger than just this full moon, all right? I'm gonna check the comments because then we have another layer of this particular full moon to delve into. Okay, moving through here. You guys are so beautiful. I love you all. Yeah, Chris, you're a Sag sun. Yeah, I had 2 in the room yesterday for our full moon ritual, and all of the giggles of like recognition is like, and if you love a Sag sun or a Sag rising or a Sag moon, like you see it and you're like, oh man, they can't even help it. And they're so brilliant, so smart, but they need help wrangling it in. And remember, we're all, programmed for certain things, but that doesn't say, oh, I can't ever affect it. I can't change it. That's just the way that I am. That's actually not the point of astrology and hyper defeatist. We have to accept and acknowledge this is who I am and I love it. And then I'm going to work to balance those pieces to be my best self. So it always, shines a light on where we need to balance what we need to work with and work on in order to get things to come into manifestation, to burn karma, and to move forward and to really express our full soul in this incarnation. Okay, you guys, oh good, I love it. You guys are still talking about events. I dig it. So that is where this full moon sits in Sag, okay? And it asks us to look at the last 6 months. And I had a little trouble doing that myself. I went, what? Meanwhile, I've been doing a million things, right? And then looking at what do you want the next 6 months to look like? Next layer of this full moon, because it is bigger than a regular full moon. It carries a lot of weight to it, and it's really intense. And it can be effervescent and fun because it's Sag, but it has other layers to it, because you could be listening and go, that is not what I'm experiencing. I do not feel excited and all over the place and full of ideas and potential. It's like I'm depressed, I am angry, I'm fucking pissed off, and like, morose, and like, what's the point? Because everything's going to shit. So the best way to talk about this. No lunation sits alone. This full moon does not sit alone. Okay. There is a little thing happening in Gemini with 3 planets, and there's a thing happening in Capricorn in 2 planets. And these are in opposition. Okay. No, not Gemini. Oh my God, you guys, my brain, I swear to goodness, moon drunk in Cancer. Okay. So there's some things happening in Cancer in our global transits, right? And things happening in Capricorn. Okay. The only thing you really need to know about these things that are happening is that it's like a pressure cooker. The things that are going on, the planets that and celestial bodies that are sitting in Cancer and Capricorn, they're like pushing us. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Pressure creates diamonds. Okay. This is the cliche. We are being pushed in all of these really important ways, and it feels uncomfortable. And everybody, or some of us might really feel like, could I just get some room, like enough already? Could just feel like the pressure, like of things, stress of things, the importance of things seems like a little too grand right now, and a little too important, and a little too weighty. That is happening in the cosmos for sure. So when you've got pressure like this, it really is like, pressure creates diamonds out of coal, and you got to have the push and the squish and the push and the squish and the condensation and the shaking out, right? And you got to sift it into dust, and then it's like pretty soon it's like, and then you've got something magical and sparkling and shining. I think that this energy calls us to really refine what we're doing, to bring it in, to do less, but do it better, and to really be honest about where we're wasting our energies. The opposition of these energies is, Cancer is the great mother. And I always say that Cancer is the great mother in its best, balance, that your mother will hold you when you cry. She will hold your sorrows, or your mother figure. Because I'll be honest, my mother did not do these things, that they will hold your sorrow and your sadness. They will cook you a great meal. They will let you laze around and feel sorry for yourself for a certain period of time. Then they come in and they snatch you by your ear and they tell you exactly where you fucked up. And they're supportive in every way to work your way out of it. Go, now you need to go take responsibility and go fix it. Go move on now, right? The time spectrum on that is individual, but great mother energy says, I see you as a feeling creature, and I'm tender with your feels and supportive, but I'm also honest that we're human and self-responsible, and we have to make changes in order to change what we don't like, right? So that's on one side. So there is an issue of self-responsibility versus indulging yourself. Like, is there too much self-care and really it's delusion and hiding? Like, I'm gonna go hide in the bathtub instead of think about what I need to think about, and what I need to actually go actuate on and change habits and recruit support and maybe pay for some help with it. Like, we got to make some changes here, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the literal definition of insanity. So you have this great mother energy putting pressure on us. And then you have Capricorn. That Capricorn is the CEO. Does it make money? Did we get to a goal? Now that is, again, a base, like terrible minimization of Capricorn, but these are the things at play here. So when we break them down in a cultural collective, capitalist society versus divine feminine, who's gonna win? Maybe there is no winning. How do we get these things to work together to create new balance, to generate new resources? So the question at this full moon is really, what are my resources? Knowing that we have everything we need to know. We don't need any more information, because the Sag moon and Gemini season tells us that. It's time to alchemize into wisdom. So what are my resources? Time, money, energy. I know everything I need to know. Now I need to make decisions and get focused. And how am I going to engage with these decisions and my pieces that I have, right? Because it's really about resources and focus. What do you really want to see in the world? And what are you willing to shift in tiny and mighty ways in order to have the grand spectrum change about what it means to get to a goal. Because Capricorn is only about achieving goals, right? Just has to get to the top. So this is a time of deciding what is the actual goal on a personal and a collective level. What are all my resources? It is absolutely about integration, Sarah. But so this is about wisdom, right? We have the information we need. If we haven't had an experience and put it into action yet, then it's time to take action, because information plus action equals wisdom. We are in a wisdom point here. Pressure. We're trying to get to the goods inside, and shit don't get real until it gets hard, right? So we really are at this like make it or break it point as a person and as a collective. I'm seeing it in clients. I'm seeing it and experiencing it in myself of like, you're like, this is hard. Am I really going to keep doing this? Am I really going to keep putting energy towards it? Am I really going to give it X amount of more time before it's successful, or before it's what I want it to be, or what it needs to be in the world, whatever that is, right? And so the urging of this full moon is a bit of the keep going, but clear the path, get rid of the crap, be honest, don't do too many things, focus so that you're not bleeding energy. And it's really time to get honest and get real and to actualize something and to manifest some things. But we may need to slow down, and we first have to pause and go, what do I even really, what's the goal, right? Scrambling up the mountain is not a goal. Like, what's the point of getting to the top? Are you taking pictures at the top? Are you proving because nobody else has gotten to the top before? Are you trying to get to the top so that you can help other people up to, you can't just be running willy-nilly, okay? I'm checking in on the comments really fast. And then you guys get to participate and communicate about what we're talking about too. Yeah. Okay. So, LM, she's noticing as I do your ritual for this moon in preparing, some fear set in. Then I was like, it didn't work. And then I realized it did. And I felt like I was going to pop off, just freaking weird. Okay. So Sag energy is fire. So fire, we talk a lot about in Unicorn Wellness, like learning how to dial into your magic and your fire, because fire can cook a gorgeous meal or burns the whole house down. Fire is anger. Anger is really loud sadness. And so we are experiencing, this is where the layers come in, okay, that are not specific to this full moon. It's actually, we're going to be dealing with anger for the next 7-8 years because Chiron moved into Aries, okay? But this full moon is exacerbating it. And this pressure cooker, because who do you want to argue with most in the world? Your mama. Because you know they're right. I had it happen with my son last night. He's so mad at me because I'm right. Oh, I don't always like being right because you piss people off. And you're like, oh, now they hurt. That wasn't the goal, right? So it's like there is anger in this. There's a lot of heat in this moon. And the pressure, when things get pressurized, right? Like we're like, God, don't hurry me. That's when you explode. That's when you get like, and that's when you do stupid things. We're like, fucking quit, right? And it's like, oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. Like, how do we backpedal? So there is a bit of managing this pressure here, right? As a functional human, I go, we need cooling substances. This is where the wellness components come in. Do not skip your mat time. There will be times where I go, it's okay not to focus on the mat right now. You're not going to hear it right now. Sagittarius is the second athlete of the chart. Aries is the first. But Sag is happiest when it's moving or after it's moved. It's got so much of this fiery energy that it needs to displace it, and it has to be moved through. So half of, part of managing the anger, the frustration, which is real right now. So what I'm trying to say is if you are feeling highly depressive in this last month, depressed, if you're feeling really angry or you're feeling anger surge, and that's not usually your shtick, this is part of these lunations and the pressure of this Cancer Capricorn energy in the middle of all of this. So this is when we double and triple down on our self-care. Self-care means a space that will calm us and ground us, where we can respond versus react, where we can journal or talk and discuss. Why are we mad? Just get it out. And so you do, when you're angry, you need to get it out. You stuff it in, it's toxic. Journaling gets it out, talking to a therapist, talking to your friends, but make sure it's a friend who will listen, not somebody who's trying to solve or who interrupts. It needs to just get out, okay? So anger is just part and parcel of this right now. And it is about integration and it is about alchemization. But there is a pressure cooker happening. Okay. I feel like there was a sentence or a point I didn't quite finish there, but I think you all get the basics of it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No. It is really true. There's a lot of anger, and a lot of the clients that I've had in the last 3 weeks, and including myself, just need to fucking vent and get it out. And but it's also this weird, like when I was doing it, it's like I am angry. I'm really angry about a lot of things, and things feel really heavy and really important. And I am pissed off at humanity for not changing their habits faster. I'm worried about the planet, for my children. Like this, we've got to change things. We have to, and this doesn't have to be epic. But I also can't carry the weight of the entire world on my shoulder. But I have to acknowledge what I'm upset about, what I'm fearful of. Like fear is a huge component of this, because we're standing in this pressure cooker. And then you wonder, can I really do this? Are we really going to flip it over to the other side? Are we really going to transition? Is wellness really going to improve if I make these changes? Will it continue to stay stable and improve? Or if illnesses and sicknesses going to come back? And as a culture, if you're not, I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again because so many private clients have expressed this. I genuinely, this is my opinion, and this is what I've seen in people. I really do believe that if you are not depressed or angry at humanity at certain intervals, you are not awake and you are not paying attention. Humanity, human 3D incarnation is the hardest part. This is the mess. This is the gauntlet. This is the disaster zone. And we signed up for it. And we come into this to learn lessons, to burn karma, to do the hard stuff, to then evolve as a soul and at a spirit level. So this is the shit show. And I think that the more your soul is connected on an ascension process to divine energies, to your true origin of the cosmos, the angrier and more sad or sadder, whatever the proper English grammar is, we get, because our soul remembers where we come from. We know we're smarter. We know we have all of the resources literally to solve all of the problems we have right now. And then we stand around going, why is nobody doing it? Why aren't there more people doing the things that need to be done? But we can't get caught in the fear and back away. Okay, we have to acknowledge it, we have to express it, we have to experience it, and we do need to feel it. The next piece of this full moon, I'm going to check it on here. Right? I mean, these are so many pieces to this. And I have on Instagram, on my stories, been posting more, about the swaps of like, how about don't even get the throwaway cup? This isn't actually about recycling or putting it in a trash can anymore. We cannot generate the amount of waste we are continuing to generate, because we're not killing Mother Nature. We are making the planet uninhabitable for us and our children. This is like 2050, and I don't need to dive off, but this is all a part of the astrology right now. We have to change the habits, and the story has to change, and we have to be honest about the communication. It is about zero waste. But then people hear zero waste, Carla, like excellent, point, but that sounds unattainable and like a little scary, and like, how do we even do that? We have to start in the tiny and the mighty adjustments, and we can only ever change ourselves. This is only where responsibility lies. So if we can be integrous in our adjustments and our changes and our habits, that is a ripple effect, and that feeds into the last layer of this full moon. Okay, the last layer of this full moon, which there are not a lot of astrologers talking about this, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. So this full moon is at 25 plus degrees of Sagittarius. So like on the chart, there's little ticker marks. So it's a 25 plus. Yes, Charlotte, it is a lead by example thing. And I do believe that this is the biggest concern right now as a collective: resources versus feminine divine. And how are we really going to turn this ship around? We can turn it around. That's what every scientist says. But we have to begin right now, and we can't wait. So I am going to say this. So we cannot wait for our, communities or our governmental communities to lead. Like, we need to vote, but we have to start in our own houses. Like, if you're getting a coffee or a tea outside of your house, you bring your own damn cup. End of story. Just don't, because those cups aren't recyclable anyway. So minimizing and taking care of our trash is no longer the end game. That won't solve it. We have to quit producing waste, which we can in really simple and interesting ways. And so if you follow my Instagram, the tiny and mighty, no more plastic shopping bags. It matters big time. No more plastic straws. It matters big time. No more disposable coffee cups. None. And no more plastic water bottles. These are the 4 giants. And clothes, 5. So that your clothing, like getting rid of it, fast clothes, how much you consume, how you get rid of it. Like, we got to capsule wardrobe all the way. Vintage goods, thrift store goods. Like, this is how to do it. We have all the information. We know how to do it. Now we need to take action on it. Okay. So here is the piece that, and Sue, I hear you. I really, this is where, I'll be honest, like, I has spent the last month really sad, really angry, really frustrated. I am human and I'm super feely and my moon's in Pisces. I'm pissed off at people. They don't like to change. Unicorns, y'all are different and you're magical. And that's why I teach and speak to you all, because I see the transitions that happens from a physical body that can lead to genuine constructive change functionally. Because I'm also Taurus Sun. I want to see how shit actually hits the concrete. I want it to matter. Right? And I look at things and I go, it's really simple. We just have to start doing it. And then I start to get like, how can I handle all of these things? I'm not supposed to handle all of them alone. You're not supposed to handle all of them alone. We are just supposed to handle what we can and allow the universe to put things in our path to be models of behavior for the next person. And when somebody goes, why are you always lugging that coffee cup around? Educate. Because my one cuts down on 500 of those in my lifetime. And those are not recyclable. Those are ending up in the planet and in other countries that are causing disruption to their economy. So I can, so I'm doing this. That's what I'm doing. I'm checking in on the comments. Well, there is a lot of people assuming that things are a done deal, and it's not. The follow-up conversations are not being had loud enough. And this is where I start to be like, am I supposed to be an environmentalist now? Like, no, this is what I teach. But we can integrate this because the body is the same as Mother Earth. They're a reflection. Both. So when you teach people how to get connected to their physical system, there will eventually, and sooner rather than later, be a connection to our physical environment. It's one and the same. We got no place for this one if we don't have that out there. And we're not killing the planet. We're making it uninhabitable for us. It's our own damn fault. It's going to affect us. So those of us who are awake and those of us who are capable, it is absolutely on us to make all of these tiny and mighty changes. And why can't it be fun? Like, let's do it together as unicorns, right? These are all the things that I've taught in a variation in our challenges and in our 30 days to better sessions, because it is integrative life. This is not about fitness and moving your butt. This is about, do I feel good in the physical vessel? This is the home of my soul. And it actually does impact when you move to whole real foods, when you're consuming organic produce and products, then that has a positive impact on the planet. There's less of a footprint. So unicorns are really important in all of the ways. And what we're practicing on the mat is directly correlative off the mat if you just take a moment to think about it. Okay. So it is a space of helplessness and hopelessness. The cosmos are are we really going to do this? This seems really hard, and people are lame and they are slow and they're ego-based still and they're not awake. We have to be the ripple effect. We have to be the pebble, because the pebbles matter. That's all a soul is. We're just a pebble of the greater cosmos of stardust. So yeah, we matter. Our teeny tiny and mighty things absolutely matter. Yeah, I mean, you guys, we're a bunch of tree huggers in this room, and we need to be loud, but we need to be constructive. We have to take the shame and the blame out of where we've gone wrong. This is wisdom, right? We have all the information we need. We don't need to know anything else. Now we need to turn it into action in order to generate wisdom. So good, you guys. Okay, so the last piece of this full moon, okay, and this is the thing that I don't see a lot of astrologers discussing, which I find really interesting. This full moon sits at 25 plus degrees of Sagittarius, okay? The galactic center is at 26 degrees of Sag. This full moon is sitting right nearly, literally, because it's 25 plus, on top of the galactic center. Okay, and everybody goes, ooh, what is the galactic center? What does it mean? And I always show, because I don't know if you can see it. It's upside down from the way I'm showing it to you guys. So the Mayans calculated the direct center of the universe. It's 26 degrees of Sagittarius. This is the birthplace of all things. This is the middle of the Milky Way. Okay, it is a gigantic black hole. Their visual representation of it is known as the galactic butterfly. Okay, but it wasn't confirmed or discovered by science, by scientists and astronomy, until I think it was late 50s, 1960s. I'd have to go back and look, that it really does sit at 26 degrees of Sagittarius, this spot. Okay, so this full moon with all of this pressure is on top of the galactic center. This is all knowingness and all nothingness. This is it. So whatever you believe, this is literally the center of the universe. And so black holes are known, right, to just suck things up, oblivion. Or they are pure creative force and energy. There are whole solar systems in there, right? Unknown things that exist for beginnings and new, fresh starts. So this full moon is being pressurized, pressure cooker. Can you get rid? Can you cut the fat? Can you get down to what really needs to be focused on in order to make an impact in the world, to generate your own diamond, right? In order to integrate and to truly change, to understand that we have all the information that we have. Like, are you going to be consumed by fear right now and a lack of faith in humanity and potential? Or are you going to help birth the creative new world and be focused and anchored, as unicorns are, in infinite hope and potential and true, capable, full healing? That's why I changed the name of the site. Unicorns represent hope and potential, infinite possibility, and the capacity, unicorns, to offer full and complete healings to the pure of heart. So it goes much deeper than the human vessel. This tends to be my gift, and this is the mode, right? But it all goes to the same place. We are being pushed at its essence. Are you going to be capsized by fear, a lack of faith in humanity, really believe that the black hole's just going to suck us up and none of it matters? Or are we going to have faith and trust and surrender in the grand creativity of the universe and the potential at birthing something genuinely new and a new focus that really works for the balance of all, getting to the goal in nourishment, bolstering, support, and true love? So this is like such a big lunation. Instagram just kicked off. So I'm going to take a moment to restart it because that's what I said I'd do. And then this moon is just big. Like, the galactic center is no joke. The great knowingness and the great nothingness. And so for children of the 80s, the never ending story, like the space city, what is it? The nothing, depression, fear. Like, that is the nothing. And we all take a walk through it. And some of us spend more time there than we'd like to. And some of us get stuck there. But the potential to work our way out of it with both science and with self-care, they go hand in hand, and you use as much of each as you need to keep walking to get through it. So there's so much on the table. There's so much potential. And it can be really hard to feel and get yourself refocused on the potential. But I swear to goodness, y'all, the full moon yesterday, our ritual did it for me. I was not in a great space. And every day I want to quit. Just not every day. But things are hard. Things take time. Doesn't always feel good. You all were present for the last, YouTube. That happens a lot. And it's happened more and more often since we transitioned to Unicorn Wellness, since I'm very vocal and present about being a witch, about astrology, and about the tarot, right? Perspectives are different. I don't take it as hard, but it doesn't make it fun, right? So we're really sitting in and on the cusp of transition. Depending on how much you get into star seeds and 3D to 9D energy in the ascension process, we are being pushed and invited to the new world energetically, but we each have to be a part of it. And for those of us who hear and see the call to do better, to be in the light, to move forward, to be spiritually anchored and functionally anchored, we are really the important ones. We're the warriors. We're the unicorns. We're capable of bestowing true healing, but it comes from us individually. So we have to quit looking outside of ourselves, for the answer and the solution. We have to be the change. And it can be fun. It really can. Right. Absolutely. These are not unknown things, right? Just exactly. Indigenous nations know. They've always known. They still know. They're still like, we need to look to them for the answers because they got them. Like we have all the information we need. So again, we just can't get stuck in shame and blame and defeatism, because that's not the point. What the world needs is more hope and potential and more understanding of our co-creatorship capacity. Capricorn, capitalist society has really done quite a number on fear and control. You're weak, you're small, you're little, you need to buy something in order to be something. No, you don't. No, you don't. But we have to help people see that and experience that and like bring the legions on a little bit faster than what we're doing, because people are hopeless. They are frustrated. They feel disempowered and they think it's too big. If you can start to affect change in your personal life day to day, then you see how it's possible and the potential of it. And then you go, yes, now I can do bigger things. So this, as being a unicorn, in my mind, is an act of activism. Self-care, radical self-care in its true form of, experiencing joy, of focusing on the beauty of this body and the sensual pleasures, and being in co-creatorship with the physical system and in support of it and in celebration of it, rather than degradation and fear. Okay. There is so much hope and potential in the younger generations. So be clear. There's also a lot of understanding and hope and potential in the LGBTQI communities. They're indigenous communities, like these, what we have considered in mainstream cultures, the side rails, like, fuck that. Like, we have to be looking to the people who really get it and who really understand. So, and I could say, why, ladies? We got to hop on the wagon and we got to look outside of ourselves, and we have to understand our entitlement, and we have to understand where we've grown up and the things that we've sucked into, and then really go, there's a lot of hope and potential out there. Like a lot. So we have to anchor into that. And this is where the constructive blinders, right? Do not engage in the communities that do not believe. Do not engage with people who do not believe that there's hope and potential and the ship can't be turned around. And don't waste your energy trying to convince them or to convert them. No time for that shit. They don't get it, leave them behind. Stragglers, go. Too much dead weight. Focus. Those of us who understand, we've got to connect, and we have to grow the energy as a collective, and we have to expand that, and then we have to do the functional things. It's possible. It's so possible. Okay. So checking the time here. I think unless you all have, oh my gosh, why Instagram? I do not understand. I swear to goodness, social media and I, as much as I love it, we don't always connect. Okay, so it won't post what's on Instagram now. I don't know why. What we just did. I'm going to turn it back on. Okay. Hold on, you guys. Discuss amongst yourselves. Okay. Okay. Instagram. So I've turned you all back on after our first full hour, and actually it kind of cut off at a good ending point. It's not showing that it'll post or share, which is a real bummer, but we're getting ready. YouTube's still nice and strong. So if you're joining me, we're getting ready to start the weekly tarot reading. Covered a lot of ground in this first hour and 10 minutes or so, but there's a lot of hope and potential. This moon is intense and it's big and it's real. And there's a lot of transition. And when in doubt, and when you're really anchored in that fear, hi Tracy, and that frustration, and the anger, then you need to work the self-care tactics, right? And you all might go back to YouTube. There's a video that I talked about anger, and how to work with it. It's important. And we are going to be dealing and working with anger for the next 7 years in this transition of Chiron. And I touched on that too for a couple of weeks. So as a collective and as a culture, there are big things going on. I do not put the big things out there to scare us. I put them out there to give us permission to feel what we're feeling, to not then get super capsized and in fear and spiral, right? In order to give hope and potential and to give guidance on, like, we need to be gentle. We need to slow down. We got to get focused, and we need to be the change, and we need to grow our little unicorn horns, right? Like, there's so many ways to transition things. And there are people out there who get it, and it may feel lonely. I feel lonely. I'm in New York in a highly educated, highly liberal community, and I see people do things I cannot believe they are still doing in all the ways. And then I just get pissed. And maybe I'm not so nice here. It's excusing it anymore. Stop that shit. Stop it. Okay? So some of us, all of us at one point need to be like, swatted on the nose and go, stop that shit. Stop it. It's not helping anymore. These habits are leading to more of the bad stuff. Just stop. Simplistic, and that's not really how I teach. So, and I guess we just restarted it at this point, and it's 11:11 for you guys. I love that. Okay, so in honor, it's like pouring down rain here. Can you guys hear it? I don't know if you can hear it. I'm going to show you something because it's fun. Tracy, I can't move you because I'll never get the phone back in the thing. You can't really tell. It's so gorgeous and green, but it's just pouring rain. Pouring. Okay. Let's move into the weekly reading, all right? Because I missed you all yesterday. And I wanted to leave it to the end of today because this moon is so layered. And there's a lot of discussion, right? Like in the Instagram posts, I can't go into the depth of this particular moon, so I did keep to the basics and the question at hand. No lunation stands alone. Oh, we haven't done unicorn bingo. Shoot. I'm going to do the reading and then we'll do bingo if there's time. How about that? Because I have a client after you guys. There's just so much going on. And to offer this information is not to capsize. But I really want you all to have permission to feel your feels, understanding that you're not alone, that if you're feeling angry and really fearful and really depressed right now, that's on par and you're awake and you understand what's at risk and at play here, right? And so then from fear, the only balancing medicine to that is a connection to spirit, is trust and surrender in the greater cosmos, in goddess, in God, in Gaia, in, whatever way you need to speak it, your guides, guardian, guides and guardian angels and higher self. This is the only way out of fear, is to trust and to really practice, and a meditation practice and a connection. And the cards bring us, closer to that connection. But the thing that really brings you that is meditation. So it's not that there's so much at stake. There's more at stake than there used to be, but there's always something at stake. There have always been wars. There have always been issues, right? So it just takes time, and we're human and we're here to do the hard stuff. This is the hard stuff. So the long haul, we've got to get ourselves nurtured and understanding what that means, in particular, heading into 2020. And I say 2020, and I think a lot of people think the election, and that's clearly a part of it, but it really has to do with the astrology of 2020. That 2019 is about blessings, but where do blessings come from? They come from the lessons. They come from the hard stuff. So no doubt that this year is like lesson after lesson after hard stuff after lesson. Okay. So if you can hang in there with your feels and really get to acknowledging and dealing with them and working through them and not squelching them and pushing them down or indulging. We all get in habits and patterns of indulgence. Moving on the mat constructively helps shake those loose. If you have not done the reset, it's about damn time. I promise you, you get your gut biome better, your feelings change. Your capacity for joy and potential and hope changes. There are more serotonin receptors in your gut than in your brain. So adjusting and cracking your food code is unbelievably preeminent in my mind in order to help assuage or to even solve a large portion of depressive and anxiety issues. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it in myself in particular. So that's like the encouragement and the meditation. If you're not doing it, just go press the damn play button. That's really why I offer what I offer. You don't have to wander around. You don't have to go pick other things. If you can, trust me, press play on the workout, press play on the meditation, press play on those long-term, full, new, and monthly tarot readings. We can do this. We're going to do it together. Okay. Let's do the card reading first. Okay. You guys are so good. So good. I don't think there's going to be time for Unicorn Bingo today. If you all are willing, I'll do it tomorrow and post it. But I have a client after, so I have to manage the schedule best I can. Okay. Okay. So I definitely wanted to do the weekly card reading at the end, after all of the lunation, after all of the understanding of where this full moon sits and what's happening as a collective, because our wellness is not just about our physical bodies, but they are connected. Right? Body, mind, and spirit. We have to be able to understand and dig into the emotions at play. We have to understand that as sensitive beings and intelligent and emotionally intelligent people, the energies of play are going to soak into us as unicorns deeper and bigger, and that we have to start to sift too. Things we haven't touched on is when we get into fear and depression and anxiety as empaths, those aren't always our feelings. So this is the other piece. We don't have time to go through the full bit of it today, that when we have all of these feelings, sometimes we're feeling the collective. And we have to realize how scared people are, how hopeless they feel. And we have to be those people that give them hope and potential and manageable tactics to shift and create change. So this moon, there's a bit of like, what are our resources? What is the goal? What do we want the goal to be? And the power of the ripple effect, knowing that we are pebbles in the pond. Okay? Okay. So here we go. We're going to shuffle through. We're going to do our weekly reading to see what this week with this full moon. And Friday, the summer solstice. Holy cow. So much. Hang on. I'm just dropping cards after an hour and 20 minutes. Hang in there. Okay. So it's big. Do not dismiss the bigness of the energies at play right now. Don't minimize it. And also be willing to look at the things that you're feeling that are so intense. Are they yours? Or is it this empath collective that you're just feeling what's at stake here? That's pretty magical. Not to say that we want to feel terrible, but honor where the feelings are coming from. My guests in particular, for those who are members of UnicornWellness.Studio, some of you who are experiencing these things, it's not all your own thing that you're experiencing. You have to learn how to manage and ground your psychic capacities and the capacity to energetically feel things. How do those things happen? On the damn mat, in your food reset, in hydration, in rest, and in meditation. It's why I teach what I teach, I promise you. Okay? Yeah, so we're just going to do the weekly tarot right now. If I have time tomorrow, I will hop on to facilitate Unicorn Bingo for this moon. And we're not going to have time for the single card tarot pulls today. I'm so sorry, but I feel like in some ways it's good because it's been kind of a thing lately of not the most positive aspect of our togetherness. Okay, so here we go. For this week. Oh. Ooh, yeah, okay. Okay, the spirit in which to move through things from the Soul Space Oracle deck. And then definitely the goddesses today, okay? You guys are being so good. You guys are being so good today. So good. Spirit in which to move through things. Okay. They're beautiful cards. Okay, and then the Goddess Oracle deck. This is really to call upon for protection, sometimes for mimicking in order to get through the week, to make it through the week. Additional information that the universe wants us to see, here, or know. Whoa. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, sometimes can't make it up. Okay. So for this week, I don't even know what the dates are, y'all. What was yesterday? The 16th, 17th, 16th, 17th. I don't know. Monday through Sunday this week. I'll get the dates right when I put the video up. Remember that this 5-card spread has this kind of, 48-hour sort of 72-hour transition throughout the week. So sometimes it's fun to look at the cards in that way. I'm going to start putting the full card layout photograph in my Instagram stories. I think there's just some adjustments to the social platforms I'm trying to make things easier and more visible, and quite frankly, less stress and less work. For me, again, being honest about what I'm capable of and really getting focused, and not spreading myself too thin, because that is not helping anybody. So weekly tarot reading for Monday through Sunday of this week. This is fascinating. So where we're starting from and the theme of the week is the Knight of Wands. So the only other more Sagittarian card we could have pulled, I'm going to show for Instagram too, would have been the King of Wands. So this is very Sag energy. Like this is fire. This is wands. This is bravery, courageousness. The Knight of Wands goes charging in, like, yeah, no questions asked, just starts going. So this is about starting something. This is about leading. This is about going. This is about doing, right? Because that's the beauty of Sag. They are really good at starting things. So this is about being honest. Also, remember that this is the Knight. The Knights go in to fight for something and or to protect something. So the theme of this week, which I would also say is the theme of this full moon, is what do you want to fight for? What needs protecting in your heart of hearts? Where were you willing to put your bravery and courageousness and your loud voice and go charging out in front of others and to lead the brigade, literally? Okay, so the Knight of Wands, I mean, it's so Sag because this is just Knight of Wands. Like, they don't always think things all the way through, but they know that if they just start, that sometimes that's enough to get others to follow you, right? It's excited, it's enthusiastic, it's brave, it's big, it's bold, and it's doing. So I think we all need to be asking ourselves, what are we leading the brigade on? Or are we leading the brigade on too many things and we need to focus in? Like we need to run it in and really get focused. So that's just all of the Sag full moon energy right there in a card. So if you want to re-engage, remember, here for the first time, like what all that was, you go back to this YouTube video at the very beginning and listen to all of the full moon stuff, because it's a biggie this time. Okay, so then we move into the next steps forward for our highest and greatest good. This reading's so beautiful, you guys. I hope you really like feel and like get the magic of this full layout, because it's kind of a big deal. The next steps forward for our highest and greatest good as a collective is the Three of Wands. Okay, again, we're dealing with fire energy. Again, we're dealing with bravery and courageousness. This Three of Wands is always about a vision. This is often depicted in decks as a triangle of like, what can you visualize to be the future? What do you want to see in the future? That anything you visualize is possible of creating and co-creating in the universe and attaining. But if we're wandering in circles around the mountain, or if we're just kind of scrapping our way up to the top, but we don't know what the point is of getting to the top, we have to know what we're aiming at and why. So the Three of Wands says to be brave and to be courageous and to be creative, because firepower is magic, it's creativity in what we want out of the future. Okay, as a collective, as an individual. And sometimes you have to stop and really just look out and go, what do I wish I saw there? My husband, one of the first conversations my husband and I ever had before we were married, he's a philosophy major at Berkeley, was talking about everything being in agreement, right? That we agree to these things. We agree to the concrete streets and agree to how our trash gets, but we agree to these things as a collective, right? That we could be agreeing to flip-flops and velvet roads. This is always our joke. Like, we don't have to have concrete roads and drive cars. We've agreed to that. We could have velvet walkways and be in flip-flops all day long. But we have to have the vision and the creativity and the bravery and the courageousness to speak up about what we really want that to be. And this is huge right now for the environment, right? It's always big for ourselves as an individual, and it's important still. It's very important. But it's also as a collective, because we are standing on the precipice of true change if we allow it, unless, we're trying not to be capsized by the fear factor and by what has gone before us. It can be different. We can create anything we want, but we have to hold the vision. We have to be brave, and we have to be honest about it. And we have to take time to go, what do I really want that to be? What do I want that to look like? Okay. So the more focused you get, the more you can bring things into manifestation. Again, speaking to the entire full hour and 20 minutes before we started this weekly reading. Okay. Big steps towards our highest and greatest good. This card came up yesterday in our full moon ritual here in Brooklyn. The biggest steps towards our highest and greatest good as a collective right now is the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is a beautiful card. So Pentacles, remember, this is the earth element. This is tangible. This is real deal stuff. This often is in regards to finances, right? Because that's our currency in this 3D incarnation is finances. It's a part of the flow. It's a part of things. Ain't nothing dirty or wrong with it. It's just a part of it. So the biggest steps forward for our highest and greatest good is one, to learn to love our resources. Oh, can I repeat that? We have to learn to love our resources. And I already said it once today. Our resources are our time, our money, and our energy. And this goes for the personal and the collective. What is personal is political. What is political is personal. It's time to understand that and to integrate that. Okay? So the Six of Pentacles is also about giving. Giving to those that don't have, sharing, generous, true of heart in all the teeny tiny ways. It doesn't need to be big or grand. Okay. So this can involve cleaning out your own house, right? And donating goods or giving it, or starting to negotiate and really solve a swap for your neighborhood or for your block, like without really addressing how we don't generate waste, how we need to not generate waste. If we share what we have, we all have enough. Right? We have beautiful things. We have things we've never used before. Let somebody else be like, oh my God, that was such a gift from the universe, right? So there's a lot about sharing here. There's a lot about giving. The reading yesterday, and I'm being called to share it with you. When this card came out yesterday in our full moon ritual, it was about donating to something, an organization that has nothing to do with your work or career or, progressing you forward in the world. But this is the way of currency, is when you donate and give, it moves energetically through that eventually it becomes abundance for you, almost kind of coming through for the back end. That we really don't understand how much give generates us receiving on a very, personal ego-based level. That we need to start sharing our resources, time, energy, and money, right? So we have to start sharing, because we have enough resources on this planet in order to solve for everybody's issues. We do. It's about how we share. It's about how we disperse it. Okay. And again, think of one of my favorite memes is like, what is it? Like equality isn't, I'm going to butcher it, you guys. Equality for all doesn't mean less for you. It's not pie. Like resources and abundance for all does not actually mean less for you individually. And in fact, this card denotes that when you share, it begins to become more for you individually. And that's why, I love, like, on the full moon thing, we put like what the exchange is. It's not like what you're paying for it. Paying for things, denotes like ownership, and that's a very capitalist piece of it. And we work in this culture, so we do our very best. When we talk about an exchange, right? There's an exchange of energy. I teach a workshop, you all exchange resources with me for that time, right? Because this is how we function. Everybody needs food, water, shelter. We all got to pay our rent. We all, need to fuel our bodies beautifully. So we have to start thinking and seeing things as shared resources and how that's going to function and flourish and flow together. Okay, so this is the biggest place of change and constructive change for our highest and greatest good this week. Maybe looking at how you can share more, instead of keeping and hoarding. Like it's okay, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Assets to the situation. Beautiful set of assets, Seven of Pentacles. I love this card. It's such a good card. So again, here we are in Pentacles, right? The earth element, tangible, actionable things. So at its very basic and traditional reading, the Seven of Pentacles says, keep making. Just keep doing what you're doing. One foot in front of the other. One corn stalk at a time. Keep growing what you're growing. Just please keep making. Okay. Often it's depicted as the apprentice who's carving out the pentacles. It's like we have to cultivate mastery. And the only way to cultivate mastery is to repeat, 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 and keep going. And so 7 is also what I call the self-help number. People think lucky number 7. It's not luck, right? It's preparation and timing. When preparation meets timing, luck happens. So people who are an overnight success are like, yeah, it took me 25 years to be an overnight success. Let's hope it doesn't take that long. But the assets, the situation say what you're making and doing is good. Keep practicing, keep growing, keep making. These are often looked at as pavers too. You make one, you set it down, you get one little bit further on the path, and it really only happens one thing at a time. So keep practicing because divine timing is coming. We haven't missed the window. We haven't effed up yet, but we got to keep making, we got to keep putting one thing in front of the other. So this is the asset to the situation. I think this is such a beautiful one for unicorns, right? Just keep practicing, keep getting on the mat, keep meditating, keep starting the reset if you've never finished it, right? Like keep trying. Do not, this is a very loud, don't give up, okay? So the assets to the situation are what you're making and cultivating, the habits and the things that you are doing, they're good. So you just got to keep after them, keep moving. Okay, that's going to be bigger for some than others, but it's constructive. And in this one, you guys, oh, how cute. I never saw that. There's a bunny tail. Oh, look. So what's the symbolism of rabbits? Fertility and abundance. It's like fertility and abundance just crossed your path. But it's almost like, you know, when luck crosses your path, it still is going to take some time to come into fruition in the tangible, actionable things. Okay. There's a little hint of the Wheel of Fortune there. Things are going to shift for the better, but we're just not there yet. We still have more diligence and like tasking to do. Okay. Okay. Outcome of the week. This is beautiful. Queen of Swords. Okay. So you know what I say about her. Queen of Swords is a badass bitch. You know, she's in waiting. She's in control. She's very high priestess. She's not getting all riled up about anything. She's not overly enthusiastic. And she's not in, you know, like disconnect either. This is like I sit, my thoughts are in right motion. My subconscious is in its proper space, meaning in a positive outcome. She's very intelligent, right? So swords are about intellect, acumen, and thought process. She shows this beautiful balance between intellect and knowing, right? Of feeling, of understanding, of intuition, and synthesizing those things and just going, I'm going to send the night out to battle because that's what they're meant to do. And I'm going to sit here and continue to think about these things and then continue to process, knowing that I'm safe at all times, that the universe has my back, that we have all of the resources we need. And it is a matter of creativity and getting people to share and to integrate the pieces and to put the puzzle together. And if I don't sit here and patiently, calmly put these puzzle pieces together, the fact that I sent anyone out to war isn't going to make a damn bit of difference. So that we need both things, right? Like the theme of the week is going to be a lot about masculinity and willpower and solar energy and starting and doing and striving and protecting and perhaps initiating a bit of a war. Do you know what I mean? There are times to protect, okay? But the queen didn't leave her seat, right? She is of equal importance in the scale of this balance of thinking things through, of being thoughtful, of being calm, of being intuitive, and of really being regal about her choice of words and her choice of thought patterns. When this card comes up, there is always a call to writing, a call to journaling. If you feel, you know, called to blog, to post things that are a little bit more, you know, persuasive or uh, convincing, or outright like, y'all need to be doing this, like telling people what to do, that's a constructive place for her to be a leader, to be talking to people. It's always a call to watch your words. Every word we speak is a spell. Every thought we think is a spell. And if we have a thought, because we're human, that isn't constructive, and we have awareness, this is the point of awareness and meditation, we go, cancel, cancel. That is not what I want to put focus on. That is not what I want to bring into fruition. That is my fear. That is my humanness. And I acknowledge it. And I hear you and I see you and I go, cancel, cancel. What I really want is this. This is what I want to bring to fruition in the world. Okay? It's a beautiful outcome. Okay. Spirit in which to move through things is to listen. I think, again, listening is a lunar quality. And so that's the balance of all of this, like fire, solar energy of Sag, listening to yourself, listening to your heart, listening in meditation. Meditation doesn't always offer us these answers that we want, but it's preparation. Just like a workout doesn't actually create body change, it's preparation for change. So listening is preparation for hearing. That makes sense. So this is always a call to meditation. So this week, the way in which to move through this week is going to be in meditation and having your ears kind of fine-tuned. But it's not always about ears, right? This is, how do I receive my messages? How do I know that the universe speaks to me? It's when we acknowledge, numbers in repetition. If you find feathers in your path or coins in your path, when you know there's some weird, license plate in front of you that says unicorn, and you're like, okay, getting on the mat today. Listen to your sign symbols and omens. Understand that you're not alone. You have to be open to it. You have to learn what your translation method is. It takes time, but just don't give up on it. And the final card for this week, y'all, this is when magic really happens in a reading. I'm like, I cannot make this stuff up. So this is the goddess of the week to call upon for protection, for guidance. And I also believe that in the week we can mimic this goddess to help get us through, to help bring our highest and greatest expression of our soul into this lifetime and our best balance in this week. Wouldn't you know it? Mawu, Mother Earth. I can't even. Okay, so listen to the bottom of it and then I'll read from the book. You are called upon to help with environmentalism. That's one of those cards that makes me want to cry after all of that. Like, I don't think I've ever pulled her out of this deck in a reading. That's really beautiful. Okay, so let's look at the book, because I've never pulled her in a reading, like when I sit and just look at the cards and sift through them. So let's see what the booklet has to say to go deeper into Mawu. There's no greater cause today than giving back to your mother and rekindling a friendship with the soil, the air, and water. The earth is the life force for material life, and there's no sense in continuing a downward spiral of dirtying the planet with further pollution. Your contribution is necessary no matter how small. You make a huge difference in this planet's welfare through small and simple changes in how you operate. I can't make it up, you guys. It's worth it, believe me, and I will help you accomplish this goal in all the ways. Various meanings of this card. Your life's purpose involves environmentalism, using earth-friendly products. Recycle. It says that, but I'm going to tell you right now, recycling is not going to save us. We need to produce less waste. That is fact. The book was printed a while ago. We need to still recycle, but less waste. Get involved with an environmental group, teach others about environmentalism. I am big on the tiny and mighty, meaning that if you will personally have integrity and just not purchasing a coffee cup and taking your own coffee cup, carrying your own water bottle diligently where you go. No more plastic water bottles, like unless emergency situation, literally. And no more plastic bags, like with diligence. These are huge pieces in the tiny and mightiest ways. And you teach others by doing. It's modeling behavior, nice and simple. Give these things as gifts along with an educational card that says why you're giving this as a gift. She's the West African, Mawu is the West African moon goddess, who's believed to have created all life with her husband and the sun god, Liza, Mawu helps those who call upon her to learn how to live in harmony with nature and to respect its resources. She ensures that our needs are abundantly supplied without causing harm to the planet. It's possible. Guys, so beautiful. So beautiful. Can't make it up. Okay. Okay. I have to go because I have a client. And I just appreciate you all sitting through the long story today and being with me. I feel like this is probably how we're going to transition for the future, but I'm going to let it have its little creative space. I have another option aside from YouTube for the unicorns that I'm considering. I don't want to say anything yet, but I love you all. I am serious about what I teach. I am serious about being a support for you. I am serious about being honest in our sadness, our frustration, and our anger. But I'm also really serious of like, we got to take it and do something with it. We have to help. There's no other choice. And the card reading just extra lays that out there. So thank you for letting me show up and teach. Thank you for being present. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I'm ever so grateful for the UnicornWellness.Studio community. Yeah, Tracy, and I saw Brianna in here for a little bit too. So nice. I have been channeling a ridiculous amount. So if you can, I don't know if y'all can tell, I'm a little zapped. I do get kind of moon drunk and a little like, woo, out there. And I do need some quiet and downtime. It will come in August, which is why I take August off. And this is a point in time because of this moon and evaluation to go, what do I need to continue producing and doing? And what can I pull back from? And where can I help and assist more effectively and more focused? Okay. So thank you. Thank you for being present. I see you and I love you and I'm grateful for you. And I think if there's any representation of tiny and mighty, it's the Unicorn Wellness community. You all are seriously special. You are unique. You are open-hearted. You are willing to heal. That is no small thing. You love infinitely. And your empath levels are greater than you all know. And it just gets bigger the more you practice, honestly, on the mat, in meditation, and in the tarot. So I love you. I will see you next week. I can't even remember what day next week. So happy full moon. Go put your crystals out. Go charge them outside. Okay. Bye, you guys.